Principle of moving coil galvanometer. Now this figure shows the moving coil galvanometer. Okay, here there is one spring, where there is one coil. This one is coil. This I am showing. See this way. This is the coil which is placed in the magnetic field. Okay, so the galvanometer consists of coil with many turns. The coil is free to rotate about a fixed axis in a uniform radial magnetic field. So radial magnetic field is produced here by these two magnets, north pole and south pole, you can see. And radial magnetic field is produced, means this is the direction towards the center everywhere the magnetic field is. Okay, and this is the coil, that is a rectangular coil which is placed in the magnetic field. Now you can see every time the area vector is perpendicular to the screen and magnetic field is radial, so there will be an angle of 90 degree between area vector and the line of magnetic field, or we can say magnetic field lines. So every time the angle between the area vector and magnetic field lines or magnetic field is always 90 degree, or it is always perpendicular. Okay, so the coil is free to rotate about fixed axis in the uniform radial magnetic field. Here this coil can rotate this way, left right it can rotate this way, it is kept. This center which is shown by the black dot is the axis about which it rotates, and this part which I am showing, this part, that is the circular part, okay, which is denoted by SP. This SP, that is spiral part, you can see that is a spiral circular spring. It is pivoted at the center. There is a central pivot, or we can say there is a support which is kept, and there is a soft iron core which is kept here, which provides or which is utilized to produce the radial magnetic field. Now whenever this coil rotates either towards right or towards left, this pointer will move on this scale this way. Okay, either it goes this side or it goes this side according to the direction of current. Okay, so there is a pointer which is kept here. Okay, and this magnetic field is produced by these permanent magnets, that is north pole and south pole of the magnet which is there, which is required to produce the uniform radial magnetic field. And this soft iron core has a characteristic of producing these radial magnetic field lines. Okay, it produces radial magnetic field line, rather it helps in doing it. Okay, a cylindrical soft iron core is used to produce the radial field, and it also increases the strength of magnetic field. So these are the two uses. Now as you know that torque is equal to BI/NA sin theta, as such it is NIA cross B sin theta, but theta, as I explained, it is 90 degree between area vector and magnetic field, so maximum torque X, that is BI/NA. As area vector and magnetic field are perpendicular, sin 90 is 1, so magnetic torque NIBA will be rotating the coil, or it will rotate the coil either towards left or right. Okay, according to the current direction the coil will rotate and the pointer will go either towards left or towards right. This way it will move. Okay, so this is the torque which tends to rotate the coil. Therefore what will happen, the spring SP which I have shown, the spring which is here at the center, which is spiral spring, okay, that will provide the restoring torque. Try to understand. The coil, say for example coil goes this side, if the coil is moving towards left side, if the coil is rotating this side, then the pointer will come here, then this central spiral circular spring is going to provide the restoring torque in the opposite direction, means in the right hand direction. So there will be equal and opposite torques, and because of this pointer will have a steady deflection. So now that is discussed here. The spring SP provides counter or restoring torque which is directly proportional to deflection. More the deflection, more the restoring torque will be. If you increase the length of the spring in more amount, then more restoring force will be produced. Similarly here, spring is also providing the restoring torque which is directly proportional to the deflection. Thus restoring torque is found to be, try to understand, the restoring torque which is found to be directly proportional to the deflection, and if you remove this proportionality, then it becomes, thus restoring torque becomes equal to K phi, that is balancing this torque which is produced in the current carrying coil which is placed in the magnetic field. As such, the principle of this galvanometer is that whenever a current carrying coil is placed in the magnetic field, it experiences the torque. Similarly here, the torque is produced or torque is experienced by the current carrying coil, that is BINA, and this restoring torque, both will be equal, or rather restoring torque is balancing this torque which is produced in the current carrying coil. Therefore both will be equal, and K phi is equal to BINA, where K is the constant of proportionality, okay, and steady angular deflection is produced. So in equilibrium, when that pointer remains either on left side or on right hand side in a particular place, then it is a equilibrium position, okay, and the two torques, restoring torque and torque in the current carrying coil produced, becomes equal. K is the torsional constant of the spring. It is nothing but restoring torque per unit twist. Its definition is the restoring torque per unit twist. It's a constant, okay. The deflection phi is indicated on the scale by the pointer attached to the spring. Now phi can be made as a subject of formula. It becomes NBA upon K into I. It's very easy. So here the quantity in the bracket is constant for a particular given galvanometer, okay. This part is constant for a given galvanometer, so we can say when more current is passed, more deflection will be caused, or deflection is found to be directly proportional to the current passing through the coil, okay. Now how the galvanometer can be converted into an ammeter, that is a current measuring device. Now see, galvanometer is a very sensitive instrument, and it shows the full scale deflection when very small amount of current of microampere passes through it, okay. Now to measure the electric current, this galvanometer has to be connected in series in the circuit. Try to understand this part. If you want to measure the current, say for example this is a resistance, here current is to be measured, then galvanometer has to be connected in series with the instrument or in the circuit, so that it can measure the electric current. Current passes through it and it is measured by this galvanometer. When current passes through this galvanometer, that of even microampere, then the full scale deflection of the galvanometer is seen, and there are chances that the galvanometer may be damaged, okay. So there must be, we can say, some modifications must be done in the galvanometer, okay. So the resistance of the galvanometer will also be added in the circuit. Try to understand this part, okay. If you place this galvanometer, then what will happen? Initially the circuit was having resistance R, okay. There was no galvanometer. Try to understand. Say the circuit was without galvanometer, okay. So the circuit was not having the galvanometer, so it was like this. And the current passing through this resistor was I. Now if you want to measure this current, then you add a galvanometer. Okay, chalo, you add the galvanometer here somewhere. Okay, we have placed the galvanometer here. So resistance of galvanometer, say Rg, will be added in this resistance R. So total resistance of the circuit will become R plus Rg. So this current which is I will change and it will become, say, I prime. So correct measurement of the current will not be done by this galvanometer. Now it will measure current I prime, even if it measures. As such, it is not going to measure. Why? Because even a microampere order of current is going to have the full scale deflection, and there are chances of damaging the galvanometer if you join it directly in the circuit. Okay. So the resistance of the galvanometer is added in the circuit and thus original current changes, so it cannot measure the correct value of the current flowing through the circuit. So some modifications are required before using this device directly as a current measuring device. Now to convert this galvanometer into a current measuring device, or to overcome these difficulties, the galvanometer which you are having, say originally you have this galvanometer. This is the galvanometer whose resistance is Rg. Now small resistance of the value Rs must be connected in parallel with the galvanometer, which is called the shunt, and the value of Rs is smaller than Rg. That must be connected in parallel with the galvanometer, whose value is less than the resistance of galvanometer. So the modification is what? You have to connect a small resistance Rs, which is known as shunt, in parallel with the galvanometer, okay, whose value is less than Rg. Okay, thus most of the current will pass through the shunt. This way it must be done. This is the galvanometer which is shown. Okay, its own resistance is Rg, separately it is shown. Okay, and you have to modify it by joining a parallel small resistance Rs with this galvanometer, so that it can be converted into an ammeter. Okay. Now this is the conversion which I have shown. Okay, the resistance now will become how much? It is a parallel connection, so you can understand that in parallel the resistance is the multiplication of two resistors. One is Rg, the other one is Rs. So Rs, Rg, or Rg Rs upon Rg plus Rs will be the resistance of this total arrangement. This arrangement will have this much amount of resistance. Now Rs is very small in comparison to Rg, or we can say Rg is very much greater than Rs. Then we can neglect this value of Rs in the denominator. This value of Rs can be neglected in the denominator, not in the multiplication. Try to understand. In the addition and subtraction you can neglect a very small value. So if you neglect this, then what will happen? You will have Rg Rs upon Rg. So Rg will be cancelled out. So you will have only Rs, or we can say, we can write it this way: Rg Rs upon Rg. So Rg will be cancelled out. You will have only the value Rs. And Rs is very small resistance. If it is added in the circuit, now if you join the galvanometer, then it is not going to cause much change in the original current. And now the device which we have prepared by joining a small resistance Rs in parallel with the galvanometer can behave as a current measuring device. Okay, so it is explained here. You can see, okay, here, yes, the resistance of the whole connection will become Rs, and this value Rs is very much small or negligible in compared to the resistance of the circuit. If the resistance of the circuit is Rc, then in comparison to RC, this value RS is very small. Thus, on joining the measuring instrument, that is current measuring instrument, in this particular manner, okay, in the circuit, is not going to change the resistance of the circuit, and correct value of the current will be measured. Okay, the scale of the ammeter is calibrated, okay, according to the full scale deflection. The scale is properly marked, okay, by writing the current values on it. Okay, now current sensitivity, as you know that the formula is phi is equal to NBA upon K into I. Now phi upon I, if you take phi upon I, is defined as deflection per unit current, which is known as current sensitivity of the galvanometer. Okay, the current sensitivity of galvanometer is defined as the deflection per unit current, and phi upon I is equal to NBA upon K. Now if you want to increase this phi upon I, then number of turns has to be increased. If N is increased, then current sensitivity increases. Okay, now this is a very important thing that is not mentioned in our textbook. Okay, what is the value of shunt that must be connected in parallel with the galvanometer? This is the formula for this. Rg is the resistance of galvanometer, Ig is the current capacity of the galvanometer without joining the shunt. Try to understand. Original galvanometer has this current capacity. Ig means how much current can be passed through the galvanometer, or we can say for what particular current the galvanometer gives full scale deflection. For what current the galvanometer gives full scale deflection, that is called the current capacity of galvanometer, and that is Ig. So say for example you have a galvanometer whose current capacity is 0.4 milliampere. Okay, now the formula for shunt is Rs is equal to Rg into Ig upon I minus Ig. Now if the current capacity is say 1 milliampere current if you pass, then the galvanometer shows full scale deflection. Now 1 milliampere you have to convert 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 ampere, or we can say 0.001 ampere is the current capacity. Now if you want to convert it into the capacity of 1 ampere, means the current you want to measure is denoted by I. So you want to convert that galvanometer into an ammeter which can measure a current of 1 ampere. So now you can calculate it easily by placing the value. If you know the value of resistance of galvanometer, say resistance of galvanometer is 100 ohm. Easily can be calculated how much shunt should be connected in parallel with the galvanometer. Okay, so Rs is equal to Rg into Ig upon I minus Ig is the formula. Okay, that is given here. Rg into Ig, here Ig is the current capacity of galvanometer, I is the current to be measured or new current capacity, and Rg is the resistance of galvanometer. This formula is very useful to find the value of shunt. Okay, thank you very much.